Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I think we'll make a start, even though I know some people are still coming in. And what a pleasure it is to see so many people gathered in this room, all interested in studying English. Not that it surprises me. This is, as you probably know already, the very best course in the very best university in Ireland. So why wouldn't you be here? But I'm very pleased. Thank you for coming. My name is Eve Patton, and I'm currently the head of the School of English in Trinity. I've been lecturing in the School of English for about 15 years now, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I think it's great, and I love it, and I hope that those of you who end up joining us will love it too. What I want to do just over the next half hour is to talk a little bit very generally about the School of English and about what we teach and how we teach it. I know that you'll have picked up some information already from the stand over in the dining hall and from talking to my colleagues, but I'll say a few things about it, and then we'll have some time, I hope, for any specific questions that you have. To basics, first of all, you'll know that this is a 4-year degree, which already puts you at an advantage. Having that extra year makes a tremendous difference over elsewhere where you might only be taking 3 years. And you'll know that we run effectively 2 degree courses. We have a single honours degree, which is purely the study of English. And then you have the option, of course, of taking a 2-subject moderatorship, where you'd combine English with another subject. And already those of you who've been looking at combinations will have seen that English and history, English and drama, English and a language, English and various other subjects make very attractive combinations. English is a discipline which goes very, very well with a number of other subjects, so it's a very attractive option. What are the differences in these 2 courses, or the differences between them? Well, at its simplest, if you study just English, if you come to study single honours English, you start chronologically in a much earlier period. We'll kick you off right back at what we think of as the beginning of English literature, which is right back with Old English and the study of the Old English epics like Beowulf. And we'll take you right the way through to the medieval period before you join with the TSM course, which kicks off really around Shakespeare in effect and takes you right through from there. So you start at a much earlier period, and obviously you do a broader range of topics within English. I'll come to the freshman years first of all. Now, the freshman years, this refers to the first 2 years of the course. And we teach in semesters. So there are 2 major semesters, which are 12 weeks long. Sometimes they seem very long indeed, but they're only 12 weeks. And in the first 2 years, what we do is we like to take you through a kind of a skeleton of English literature. So you'll take courses which are theoretical. You'll take a theory course in which you might study different approaches to literature, looking at feminism, for example, or psychoanalysis, or Marxism, or post-structuralism. We take you through thematic courses where you might look at the study of popular literature, and this is something the School of English in Trinity really excels in. You might look at detective fiction, the thriller, romance, all of these genres that we think of as popular writing. Or you might look at children's literature, another of our specialities within that bracket. We take you through the historical and chronological aspects of the discipline. So you look at Victorian writing, or you look at Renaissance writing, or you look at the 18th century, or again, obviously, you'll look at modernist writing and contemporary writing. And then we have a strand which it covers national literatures. And here you might look at American writing, at Irish writing, obviously, and so on, and cover the national questions about the development of literature. Now, in your first 2 years, you'll have 2 teaching experiences. You'll have, first of all, large lecture classes related to your different courses, but you'll also be taught in small groups, in tutorials. And in a tutorial, you'll be with about 9 or 10 other students, and you'll focus very specifically and very intimately with that group on the topic that your tutor has set for you. And this is a very important aspect of the teaching in the School of English in Trinity, that we're very committed to teaching you in small groups. And this is because in small groups you get the time to talk, to ask questions, to improve your critical skills, to engage with your tutor, and also to engage with your colleagues, with your associates on the course. It's something you might not get in a big lecture like this one, where you're just listening to one person talking. In terms of the freshman years, you'll have contact hours of about 6 hours if you're taking TSM, if you're taking 2 subjects, and then double that, 12 hours if you're taking single honours. And the assessment for the first 2 years is very even. At the moment, 50% of your assessment comes from examinations at the end of the year, and 50% from essay work that you submit during the year. Now, it all gets a lot more lively in the sophistry years. These are the 3rd and 4th years of the course. Just put all of those up. Oh, sorry. The good thing about, again, the course in Trinity is that we feel by the time you've got the really good groundwork done in your first 2 years, you're ready to make up your own minds about what aspects of English you want to focus on. So we've structured the course so that in the second section, in the sophistry years, you choose. These are option courses. We run about between 45 and 50 different option courses in the sophistry years, and you choose if you want to study Shakespeare, if you want to study horror writing, if you want to study war fiction, if you want to study American poetry. We have a huge range, and they are both traditional subjects, such as the study of Shakespeare, for example, and more recent developments, again, popular literature, literature and film, and so on. So you choose options from the options that we have available, and you'll study these in seminars. Seminar groups are about 20 to 22 students, and you work very closely in each semester or across the year, depending on how long your course is, with your lecturer in that group. So again, it's a fairly small group teaching experience, even at the sophister level. You will have one compulsory course, which is a new course called The Book. And this you take in your 3rd year. And it's a course that we've developed to try to bring in a skills element to the study of English, which will make you even more attractive to employers. I'll come back to this in a minute. The history of the book will take you right from looking at manuscripts and how manuscripts are archived, all the way through to the digitization of literature, digital publishing, electronic publishing, and the future of the book. And in the course of this, we'll cover subjects such as the history of printing, the history of the commercial side of publishing, copyright law, censorship, all of these topics that surround the production of literature, but are the kind of subjects that you might become interested in if, for example, you wanted to go on into a career in law, copyright law, or in archiving, or in librarianship, or again in literary production of some form. Now again, the sophistry years are split 50-50, 50% assessed by exam and 50 by essay. And your final degree is based on the marks you get in your 3rd and your 4th years on, again, a 50-50 basis. There are various other things that you will do in the English course. There are lots of opportunities for you to combine English with languages. For example, you might want to take a special language course while you're here. But I just want to mention the 3rd item there, which is very important to us, which is that Trinity will make it very possible for you to go on an international exchange while you're here. Either in your 2nd or 3rd year, you'll have the opportunity to travel abroad and study for a semester or for a full year at another university. So we have students who go off to France, to Italy, to Spain, to the Czech Republic, and of course some of them also go to the States and to Canada. It's a very enriching experience, and we find that students who take advantage of our connections with international universities tend to come back with having had a great time, but with a real maturity based on the fact that they've spent this time studying abroad. If I were to try to begin to sum up what the key features of English are at Trinity, I would emphasize, as I've done already, the small group teaching, that you won't be lost, abandoned in a sea of faces in a lecture theatre all the time, that we will meet you individually. And I'm very proud of the fact that as head of the School of English, that all my staff in the school, by the time you've been with us a couple of years, will know you, will know your name, will know your face, will know what you're interested in. So you won't be getting lost. We've got, obviously, a very wide range of courses, but it's not simply a pick and mix. We'll be guiding you so that you have a very coherent sense of English, along with the possibility of working on things that you particularly are interested in. We will expect you, at the end of your degree, to come out of Trinity with superior writing and presentation skills, and along with that, with a kind of research skills which will make you very valuable to an employer. This is the real strength of studying English at the moment, that employers are coming back to us and saying they're looking for students who are coming out with the ability to show initiative, to know how to research an idea or an article or a topic, to evaluate the material that's on it, and then to produce and to present information on it. And this is absolutely key in today's industries, that you have these skills, and it's something that English really has the edge in giving you. We have obviously in Trinity, and this again goes without saying because you'll have seen the building as you've been walking around this morning, one of the best libraries in the world. The fact that Trinity has a copyright library is very important because it means a copy of every book published has to be lodged with us. So you'll have tremendous resources. And because we have the old library, you'll also, if you're interested, be able to go back and look at manuscripts, look at early printed material, look at very, very rare material, which you won't be able to see anywhere else in the island. I think the other things that Trinity English will give you is the opportunity to develop your own writing skills if you're interested in becoming a writer of some kind. One of the areas that we've really worked on developing in the past few years is creative writing. And if by your fourth year you want to take a specific course where you produce your own writing under the guidance of one of our writers in residence, then you're able to do that. So, and I'm sure this applies to a lot of you, if you're already trying to write poetry, trying to write fiction, trying to write screenplay, you will have a chance to develop that. And we take that very seriously. The other wonderful thing is that because of where we are, because of who we are, right in the centre of Dublin, we constantly are host to visiting writers and lecturers who are coming through. And I can't emphasise enough just how wonderful this makes the place. Studying literature in Trinity is not simply about studying texts that have been written by people who are now dead and passed away. It's a living subject. So the writers we have coming through who talk to our students bring an aspect of vitality to the subject that makes it very special. 2 weeks ago, I think we had Terry Pratchett, the fantasy and science fiction writer. 3 weeks ago, we had the American Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist Richard Ford, who's one. Both of these are our associate professors in the school. This coming week, we've got the American playwright Sam Shepard coming to talk to us. The week after that, Seamus Heaney will be with us to lead our readathon of Milton's Paradise Lost, which we're doing in aid of charity. This sense of literature here being living and real is very important to us, and it's one of the great things about studying English here. All of you, if you come, will also be involved in lots of clubs and societies that are connected to the study of literature, the literary societies, the debating societies, the student newspapers, the student journals, and so on. I just want to finish by thinking about why study English, because I think people sometimes have an idea that, it's just about reading books and how does that equip you. The strength of this subject, as I've said earlier, is that it gives you a very solid basis for a very wide variety of careers, particularly in an age where we're moving towards new jobs in information technology, in the new creative medias, and so on. The kind of written skills, communication skills, analytical skills, production skills that we will train you in very, very hard while you're studying English with us are really very highly valued by employers. And we know this because the employers have told us this. And in the last rankings, the QS rankings, which the employers feed into, the School of English in Trinity was ranked third in Europe behind Oxford and Cambridge, a very, very high ranking indeed. And this is partly because our students are so highly valued in the working world. Many of them go on to take a higher degree, to take a postgraduate degree, either with us or elsewhere. Others go on into a wide variety of careers, but I've listed a few which come up again and again because we keep in very close contact with our alumni, with our former students. Many, of course, into teaching at all levels, right up to third level. Many into journalism and the forms of journalism that are now being expanded through the wire services, for example, broadcast journalism, new media journalism. Many into the worlds of commercial publishing, editing, and so on. Others into archive, librarianship, and many into law as well. We see a significant number of students use English as a stepping stone to take a conversion course into law. And the kind of skills you build up in English, the ability to argue your case, the ability to present information clearly, of course, feed very well into law as they do into other careers. So I think at that stage, I'd rather not say any more about the various aspects of the course, which you'll be able to get anyway from our information desk over in the dining hall. I think I'd rather use the few minutes that I've got left to see if you do have any questions or comments or thoughts about the course which you'd like to ask at this stage. This is the point where nobody asks any questions. And yes. So this is a question about the points and A-level equivalents. We won't guide you on this because the admissions office in Trinity will give you the correct information. What I will say to you is that there is a system set up for producing an equivalence in the A-level grades to the points, to the Leaving Cert points. So it's all done very strictly and mathematically by the admissions office. What I can say to you is, and you'll know this already, that just as the points, the Leaving Cert points for English at Trinity tend to be very high, the A-level expectations are very high as well. So usually we'd now be looking for 4 A's. But you'll get you'll get clearer information on that and guidance from the admissions office. We have a lot of students coming to us on the A-level system. There are different permutations depending on the AS and the A-star and so on. So rather than me try and run through them all, do take that question to the admissions office and they'll be able to send you the information. Yes?
Sorry, is the English literature course very different than the English course? I know English literature is more focused on text. Is there not?
No, there's a lot of crossover. One of the differences that you'll find with single honours English, you'll have a language element, for example. You'll study Old and Middle English. Now, you won't be doing that if you're taking the TSM course. But other courses are all shared. It's just you get to do more of them if you're just taking English. So we don't differentiate now between the two kinds of student. Yes?
Is the module on the book in the TSM and the single honours course?
Yes. The book module is for all of our students, so TSM as well. And that takes you right through your third year. Any other questions or... Yes, at the back, you'll have to shout.
Do you have any idea what sort of points you need to do English and history?
For English and history, you'll have to go and look at the document. History will have a document and English have a document, and it'll give you the table. But you're usually looking, last year, I think, for about 540 for that combination, but it may be higher. Yes?
If you want to do the TSM, can you specialize in the third courses? Can you specialize in the bits you might miss out in the single?
That's a very good question. Can you specialise in things you haven't done in the first 2 years if you're a TSM student? Yes and no. Generally, yes, you'll be able to take any of the option courses which are available. But if you've missed the language component of Old English, you would find it very hard to catch up on Old English courses at third and fourth year. That said, you know, if you're a particular, we take each case as it comes. So if you're a particular interest and you can make up the ground, then obviously that would be possible. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the. Oh, a very wide variety of firms. We have a lot of firms who recruit from the UK, and they'd be anything from banking and accountancy, the usual milk round firms, to publishing firms. We've just had Random House, for example. We've a couple of students gone to work for them, and they're the big publishing conglomerate. Penguin, who've now merged with them, have taken people. I'm just trying to think of other recent examples. The Reuters News Agency, we've had people go in there. A lot of the law firms in the UK, again, have come looking for, well, not come looking, but we know from having written references that we have students who've gone on to there. So it's a very, very wide spectrum. We've a lot of students who've gone on to RTE, to the Irish Times, to the BBC, to media abroad. Quite a few students have gone to the States, and again, they've kept in touch with us, and they're working in New York in similar firms and media organisations. Yes? Yes, the teaching staff is, I think we're 24 permanent full-time members of staff, but that's supplemented by quite a large number of teaching assistants and lecturing assistants, and these would range from our former postgraduate students who've just finished their PhD right the way through to associate and visiting professors who are specialists who we use as adjunct professors. So, for example, Richard Ford, who I mentioned, the American novelist, is one of our visiting adjunct professors, and he comes to us to take master classes. So it's quite a large staff when you add in that aspect, but about 24 of us are the core staff, the core teaching staff. Yes?
Is there much overlap between the journalism course and the English literature course? And is there opportunities in the English course to take modules in like art?
Yes. We have courses which, for example, I teach a course which looks partly at journalism and documentary. We've got a course called the Essay, or we have a course that's developed from a course called the Essay. We look at the tradition of essay writing right the way from 16th and 17th century up to the present day, and to look at journalism. A lot of what we do now crosses over into other disciplines. If you're looking at screenplay, drama, journalism in all its forms, the history of criticism, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of overlap. And it makes us a very mobile subject, you know, that we can do that we're not just locked away in one stream. I think we've time for maybe one more quick question if there is one. I'll be shot if I don't finish on time. Yes? Both. Each course has a coordinator from the main lecturing staff. Some of the tutorials are taught by the teaching assistants, but under the supervision of the course coordinator. I think that's probably all we've got time for, but please do, if you've got more questions, please come over to the stand in the dining hall. And I really look forward to seeing some of you, though perhaps not all of you, joining us in the near future. Thank you.